This is the video for comparing and ordering decimals in Module 1. When we compare and we order decimals, the biggest thing about comparing and ordering decimals is to make sure that you stack your numbers. So when we stack our numbers, we always line them up using their place value. In order to line them up using their place value, the easiest thing to do is to use the decimal in order to line them up. I'm going to use an example right here for letter A. So we have 7 and 60 hundredths, and then we have 7 and 6 hundredths. So if I take my second number and I line it up using my decimal, I can see right here that the 7 in the ones place is the same. Then in the tenths place, I have a 6 or a 0, so this is the larger number. So if I go over to letter B, I have 12 and 6 tenths and 12 and 60 hundredths. If I line it up using my decimal, I see there's an empty spot up there, and because there's an empty spot, I fill it in with a 0. And now I can see that these two are actually equal. Next, I have 95 hundredths and 89 hundredths. If I line them up, I see that the 0 is the same, and I see the 9 is larger, so I know that 95 hundredths is larger. Next, I line this one up by my decimals, and I notice right away that the 6 is bigger than the 3, so that is larger. And I come down here, I line them up using the decimal again. These are the same. The 6 is larger in this one, so 690 thousandths is larger. I come over here. Many students will think that 14 and 8 tenths is smaller than 14 and 48 hundredths, but when I line them up, I can see from lining them up, the 1 is the same, the 4 is the same, and in this case, I have to finish something out over here. If there's an empty spot, I need to put a 0 as a placeholder so they all have the same number of digits. Then I see that the 8 is bigger than the 4, so I know that that is larger. Now for some examples of ordering. When I'm ordering, I take all my numbers right here, and I'm going to place them in these boxes so that I can line them up. And I'm going to line them up by their place value. And to do that, I'm going to use my decimals. Any empty spots, I'm going to fill in zeros to make them easier to compare. So I see they all, right here, I want to go from the smallest to the largest, which is really important. And I see the smallest one is right here, so I'm going to write it. Then I see that they all have a 6. Then they all have a 7. Then this one has a 3, this one has an 8, and this one has a 0. Well, the 0 is the smaller one. And then up here, I see that I have, like, once again, that 3 and the 8. So I know that the 3 is smaller, and then I'm left with my last number. And what I want to make sure that I do when I have this is I want to put my inequality symbols in. And since I'm going from smallest to largest, that's is less than, is less than, is less than. They should all be in there. And that is how I compare and order decimals, part 1.